new Quest head strap that a bunch of you have been asking about. Didn't do great in shipping, but hopefully it's okay. Let's find out. $60, but it is on sale. $80 is the normal price. Little top head strap we can tell is cushy and says KKCobVR on it. KKCob didn't send this to me. In fact, I think after one of the last straps of theirs I reviewed, they aren't talking to me anymore. So I had to buy this myself. Oh, come on. Looks familiar, but they pack 10,000 milliamp hours into here, which is a ton. Right. Okay, this part's looking a little more familiar than I want it to. One feature about this that is truly unique, infrared light right there. So you can play in the dark with this. And we've seen that before in like little side bits you stick on little infrared lights, but this is the first strap that has added all the features into one. So let's see how this thing goes on. Now on Amazon, it currently has about 700 reviews, 4.5 stars, so it's pretty up there, but they actually used to have a different strap that they changed this listing to, because you can even see in the reviews, if you go look at it, a lot of the reviews pictured are the old head strap. Okay, so it's just a snap-on style. But a lot of you out there saw this come out and you were like, I gotta know what you think about it. It's got a flexible, very flexible rear headpiece. It's gonna go around the back of your head. It's promising. It doesn't like, there's no snap when it goes on, it just kind of slides on there. It's interesting there's branding on this part because I mean, that's gonna be on top of your head, but I won't get too uppity about it. It's definitely an Elite style strap. This is gonna be more akin to like an Oculus Elite or like a BoboVR M1, not necessarily like a Halo at all. It doesn't have any sort of forehead here. So all the pressure will be coming from your facial interface. So different facial interfaces will definitely make this feel different on your face. We got two, I kind of like that because obviously one is gonna charge your Quest and the other must be for this infrared light of theirs. If I wasn't gonna use the infrared light, which I wouldn't a lot, I would just plug that into the fan pack up here, hopefully. Looks like it's got length. Battery pack comes with 4 lights on top to show you how much battery it has, a power button. Not quite the BoboVR beep, but it is a nice beep. Nice. Most important test. As far as Elite style straps go, I've got to say it's decently comfortable for the first impression. They've got the nice flexible back pad that's going to change to your head shape. I have a good facial interface on here, so the facial interface of course feels good on my face. Unlike a Kiwi Elite strap though, it doesn't stop, so you don't get like a counterbalance effect really. What happens is you end up with more balance because you have weight at the back that's going to help counterbalance the front, but it doesn't create that effect where some headsets kind of pull it up off your face a little bit. With this, you just kind of have it flop down on both sides of your face. They've made the infrared light small enough and light enough that you don't notice more weight on one side, because that's an issue with some of like the battery packs that go on one side. You notice that weight pulling you up. This definitely doesn't seem very noticeable. It's decently comfortable. I do feel like it's heavier than what I'm used to when it comes to a BoboVR pack, but let's double check that. BoboVR battery pack, 143 grams. KKCob, 196. Yeah, it is a significant weight difference. It comes with more than one feature. It's not just a battery pack, you're getting an infrared light. So let's see how this thing does in the dark really quick for tracking. Whew. All right, kill the infrared cam just for a second because that is giving me more light in the room for it to track. It's just gonna be dark on the other cameras for a moment here. Wow. I do feel like this lights it up better than even the little KKCob did from the side. And that was actually low. That's low, that's high. Boy, it's so bright. If I put my hands up, it's like almost blowing them out to the cameras. Like, all right, we need some real world testing. So I'm gonna take this over to the garage because last time we saw in a small room like this, infrared light did great. In a bigger room, didn't work as well. So I'm gonna take this over there, I'm gonna go game, try some different stuff on it, and then come back at you with some final thoughts of how it's feeling. Because so far, I've gotta say, it's decent. I do notice the extra weight of the head strap quite a bit. Like it does feel like it's weighing down just my neck overall, but it's nice that it doesn't feel like it's pulling my head forward. It's just a lot of weight to be flicking around. So give me some time, I'll be back. We came out to John's garage, which doesn't give me quite the space as he's got a lot of more stuff in here. Basically, we're gonna kill lights because last time in the garage, we saw it kept dipping because of the distance the light had to go. So at first we're gonna start without the infrared camera on because that would help provide extra light. So we're gonna jump in, it'll go dark for you guys here, but I'm gonna kick this light on high and move around the garage and see what happens. So let's kill the lights. So first thing we learned is the battery doesn't always, when you snap it on like a BoboVR, it doesn't always just kick on right away. We're on low right now. And I barely had enough, I had to turn towards the door to get to actually track. It kept saying tracking lost. Okay, so it was telling me to create a boundary for a little bit, but then it finally, even without the actual normal lights on it with just infrared, it found the boundary that I had already created out here in the garage. Now the problem with the old KKCob is it leached off your actual headset battery, and I don't think, it was real small, it wasn't very powerful. This seems to be pretty good. I've gotta say, like this, even without his infrared camera aiming at me, like this has turned into at least in-house set of night vision goggles. Like I can see completely the distance across the garage, and I can make out, through the grainy filter of the Quest 2, I can see what's over there though. Like the old one, it couldn't even, I was in the center of the garage and it couldn't make it to 10 feet. I mean, you're talking 20 feet to the far distance. This infrared light is way better than the old one. At this point, if you were considering this mostly because of the infrared light added, it's definitely very worth it. Infrared capability is tracking perfectly. After days of tests, let's talk about thoughts on this. But first, quick durability check. Oh gosh. Okay, I feel pretty good about that. As I spent more time in it, I will say there was a couple things that got to me a little bit. Now remember, this is because of head shape. This may not happen for everybody. But even though this was pretty flexible, I did find it kind of create a pressure point on the very back here. And mostly that wasn't even so much the shape of this, but when this has weight on here, it's pulling that in more. And so I noticed this was pushing on the top of the back of my head a little bit. It wasn't a deal breaker, like it wasn't terribly uncomfortable, but for me personally, I just thought, that was kind of bugging me. But especially I noticed it in golf games because you're looking down already. So now you have a whole lot more weight on your neck and head. You're looking forward, it's pulling a bit, and then you have this little bit just pushing. It was really good for most everything except golf. I didn't love it as much. I did switch over to actually one of the headsets I mostly use for exercise because I wanted to try it with their KKCobVR fan, which adds a little more surface area to your forehead. And I like that even better. So if you're someone who really wanted this fan because it blows in and helps cool you off, this paired with this is nicer. Also, I'm not really someone who uses the infrared lights. I don't ever have the Quest in the dark. It's a cool feature to have and to know that I can use it, but I find that this is really nice to just plug in and know that my fan is always charging while my Quest is. It also seems to have pass-through charging, although it could just be that when you have this plugged in, the battery's already charging, but you see that the battery continues to charge up and both of these continue to charge at the same time. So it makes it kind of easy when you're done playing, you could just set this down, plug this in, and everything is being juiced up together. Unlike the BoboVR though, I did find I had to reach back and press the button on the battery more. It wasn't like if I took it off and snapped it on, it didn't always just immediately go back to charging, or it wasn't still charging like I'm used to with the Bobo. Sometimes I had to reach back and tell it, okay, charge. All these things are not deal breakers. Overall, I did find it really comfortable, and I did think this could potentially be an M1 Plus competitor, which I really like the M1 Plus. If you want an elite strap, and when I say what an elite strap is, it means that your face is really what's taking on the pressure. Unlike with a Halo strap, your forehead is what takes the pressure, and then this kind of floats in front of your face. I personally prefer Halos overall for everything, so I would still go with the M2 Plus, but if you were someone who knows you like an elite strap and you're in between the M1 Plus and this, it's a fair competitor. The 10,000 milliamp hours they claim can give you an extra 4.5 to 5.5 hours with your Quest 2. Didn't go quite that long to where I could actually fully drain it, but it did seem like it got a lot of extra time. Don't have to worry much about that. The only thing you will have to worry about, unlike with the BoboVR or something, it doesn't have like a dock or something you can snap it into, so you're just gonna have to plug it in each time, or maybe get a magnetic charger to snap it on. At 60 bucks, I'd say it's a good deal. Actually, I'm pretty impressed, especially since KKCob, some of their stuff has been good and some's been kind of dicey. I feel like they really did it with this one. I wouldn't mind seeing one that maybe had an audio solution built into, and heck, if it came with your facial interface, it literally would be the whole package all in one. But 60 bucks is good. If it goes back to 80, you could still pay that much, but I just feel like 60 is a good price point for it. But what do you think? I'd love to know in the comments. I know a lot of you are waiting on this one. I hope this answered all your questions, but if you have more, you can drop them in the comments and I'll try to answer as many as I can. Thank you for coming out, and I will see you in another reality.